At the end of the day, other countries are advancing. They are taking our sound and the content and they are, they're fusing it into their own regions, while we in this region are still suffering.
International record deals are the cool thing right now in the Nigerian music industry. YCEE, Davido, Wizkid, and a couple of others have signed with foreign music labels. Why is it the trend right now for a Nigerian act that doesn't have any label here, most of them don't have labels here, are rushing to sign with foreign music labels?
Well, I think the trend starts with the labels actually, the international labels who are trying to, in my opinion, mop up content right now. Because, shout out to the band when he says content is the new crude. It's actually true. Content is the new crude. And, we've seen how we've been able to monetize content. We've seen how we're able to monetize content in several markets and make money off it, whether it's, media specifically. And, so I don't necessarily think it's a Nigerian trendy thing, but I think it's a trend from a few labels who now have their eyes set on the African market, most especially the Nigerian market. So they're signing these deals with artists they think that have potential, they have a potential promising, becoming bigger than who they are right now.
Okay. Generally, what is your opinion on Nigerian acts, signing deals with foreign record labels?
Well, I'm not 100%. I won't say I'm supportive or not supportive, but I'm skeptical about these deals. Okay. History has shown that your average Nigerian artist isn't a smart person. And, the team working with these guys aren't really smart as well. Okay, so you've seen people sign contracts saying after 3-4 years, they say, oh, I don't know the kind of contract I signed. I just signed it because I wanted to blow and stuff like that. Now, we need to ask these questions. What kind of deals are these artists signing? We have no idea. Why? Because other than, say, Davido's deal with Sony, which, had a press release sent to the media houses, we were able to see what kind of deal it was, even though it wasn't 100% clear. We actually don't know what kind of deals these guys are signing. What kind of deal did Wizkid sign? We don't know. We just know Wizkid has signed to RCA Sony, right? We just know Tekno has signed one kind of deal. We don't know if it's a publishing deal. We don't even know if it's a record deal. We don't know if it's a single deal. We don't know what kind of deal I.O.J. signed. We don't know. We just found out that YCEE signed a deal for his the First Wave EP, right? And not himself as an artist. So we don't even know the kind of deals they're signing. And it's hard to now, give a thorough analysis on these deals when you don't even know what they're signing. But in the general overview of things, you always have to look at deals. Are these deals paying these artists, or are these artists just ignorant enough to sign because they want to blow in other markets?
So are you trying to say that the Nigerian act is prone to signing slave contracts because they want to blow overseas?
US artists sign slave contracts. Why would it be different from Nigerian artists? These guys are going to own your masters. They are going to handle your distribution, right? They are going to own your, if you're not careful, if you're signing publishing through them, they own your publishing. But the major thing here is record sales. So they own your catalog for this period, right? And they give you an upfront, right? So they give you upfront money. You have to make that money back. So say Sony gave Davido, in hypothesis right now, $500,000. He's going to shoot videos. He's going to pay producers. He's going to pay for studio sessions. He's going to pay for clearances. He's going to pay for mixing and mastering. And remember, this is on a high level. This is some real good music, right? Now, when you do all that, you have to make that money back. The label has to recoup that money
that they already gave initially.
Yes, and these guys aren't signing 360 deals. So they have to recoup that money from record sales. They have to recoup the money from record sales. Now, if they don't recoup that money, bear in mind, we also don't know what kind of market they are selling these artists to. The artists are now in a limbo forever because they owe technically owe the label money because the label hasn't made money back from them, and will possibly not further fund their music careers, keeping them in a state of limbo.
What is the importance of an artist having his own masters? Because you mentioned that earlier, right, in terms of contracts. So what is the importance of these Nigerian acts having their own masters?
It means you could always make money from it in the future, and this money goes directly to yourself. So you sign with a label, right? The label owns the content you produce, because the label gives you a budget to record music, right? Say an album. You record the album, you submit to the label. Label handles record sales, makes money from there, shares the money with you. They own that content for a long period of time, or for a period of time. Now, it depends. Most times it's really long. Why do you want to own your masters? Why do you want to own your master copy? So that you can actually handle the record sales yourself and all that money comes to you. Or if you don't own it and the label owns it, they make money forever on that record, and you get a percentage of it. You're not getting everything, right? And they can use your music to do anything they feel like because they own it. They own the licensing, they own the music for that period of time. So why is it always important to own your music? So you can do whatever you want to do with it. You want to take it to another market to sell. You want to sell it to some people. You want to license it to other people. You want to make more money from it. That is why it is important to own your catalog.
Okay. Now let's move towards the terms of commercial success. Let's use Wizkid and Davido. Very, very successful in Nigeria. They sold millions of copies with their albums. Now they're moving over to North America, which is a very fickle market. Do you think they signing to these international record labels will make them big stars like the likes of Future or Drake in America? Or do you think it's 50-50? This is just a gamble for them?
Why I'm excited is Sony, Universal, these guys want to work with African artists, they want to work with Nigerian artists, right? And they want to set up a structure in a way where these guys can actually sell and can try, possibly, break into these markets. But right now, it looks really hard. It looks really hard because, and I've said this, what are the two biggest songs? The two biggest Nigerian songs that have broken in the world are one, African Queen, Two-Face, and the band Oliver Twist. Both songs were sung in English language. And it is really hard for a Nigerian artist who wants to sing in a Nigerian pop sound way, of course, add influences of, indigenous language, Nigerian lingo, pidgin and all that into this music and try to penetrate these markets. So the question is, what do I want to do as an artist that has been signed to these labels? Who is my target audience? Which market am I breaking into? Once you can answer these questions, you can understand what you need to do. There are a lot of artists that have been approached by these big labels and have refused to sign because they clearly understand that they don't want to break into that market. Okay, it will be smarter to actually break into the African or Nigerian communities in those markets rather than saying, I want to appeal to someone who doesn't even understand African music or know where African music comes from. Of course, there are always the one-hit wonders and there are always those exceptions. Like I said, Wayne Wonder, Egyptian, Sean Paul, you can have a good run for a year, but after that, what happens? Can you sustain it? Can you sustain it like Future, Chance the Rapper, Snoop Dogg, and the likes? Possibly not. Okay.
So now they're in the international market, right? And their sound is beginning to change, their vocabulary is beginning to change, and they're leaning towards English lyrics. Do they run the risk of alienating their organic fan base here in Nigeria because they're appealing more towards the North American market?
Obviously, that's what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen. And this is what Fela never did, because Fela said he would never alter his sound to appeal to a certain market when he knows his core fan base were Nigerians. And years after, even after his death, everybody is rocking to that same sound that he said he wouldn't change. Yeah. So that's smart enough. So to understand this, that, okay, I have 200 million Nigerians in Nigeria, right? And I want to appeal to maybe 100 million more outside Nigeria, who might possibly not even rock with my music because they don't even understand what I'm saying. They don't get it, right?
Really.
I think right now, the Wizkid, the Davidos, the Teknos, right, are already appealing to the diaspora. When I mean the diaspora, Nigerians in these markets, in UK, in Europe, in US. They're already doing that without these labels. They're already selling their music. So what is the point of signing to these labels if you've already started achieving what you want to do? Is it the upfront money that is so, flashy in the eye that you want to collect? What is the core of, your business right now? I think these artists actually need to start answering these questions before they start picking up a pen to sign with international, labels.
Okay, now, Nigeria is a country of roughly 200 million people. Why does it make sense for top acts like Wizkid or Davido, who command not only Nigeria but Africa, to now focus their attention, energy, money, and time in North America? At the end of the day, we have enough people here in Nigeria for you to be big as any other artist anywhere in the world.
We have basic problems like, and I keep saying this, I sound like a broken record: distribution, publishing, piracy. 3 big problems we've still not been able to solve for close to 2 decades, over 2 decades now. And it's not just in Nigeria anymore. It's also in some other African countries. South Africa is a bit more advanced, publishing is tight, record sales is tight, distribution is okay. But in Nigeria, it's a main problem. Now, you could say Nigerian artists are a bit tired of this and actually want some sort of structure. Okay, but if I was a Nigerian artist who wanted to get signed by an American label or an international label, I would rather try to set up in this country and grow out from here. Why? Because if we ourselves cannot set up the structures or the infrastructures, maybe these guys can actually do it for us. Maybe the Sonys and the Universals and these other big labels can come into the country like they were here in the 90s and the 80s and properly set up for us so that we can thrive. So it's not about taking everything you have and moving out of the country and not, talking to Nigerian media and focusing, on Channel 4 and, focusing on, Spotify in the US and all that. At the end of the day, there's still no Spotify in Nigeria. Yeah. Okay? So why are you doing all that when you can drag these labels into the country? If you have the power, if you don't have the power, then probably don't sign. If you want to sign me, you have to come in here and sign me as a Nigerian artist and handle my distribution and all these things in this country. Oh, we can't do that because it's not properly set up. Well, set it up and grow from there. Because what is happening is these guys are coming, taking our content and trying to, blow us up in their own countries and in their own regions, while we're actually still suffering here. The music industry is not going forward. It's still on the same level. Managers are not educated enough. Your PR and publicists are doing crap, right? The music PR publicists are doing crap, and the artists are still not performing at the level at which they should perform. So at the end of the day, other countries are advancing. They are taking our sound and the content and they are, diffusing it into their own regions, while we in this region are still suffering.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about Fela. Now, the likes of Fela, King Sunny Ade, even Major Fashek, all signed international deals. What can these new guys learn from the likes of Fela, who signed international deals but still made relevant in our market?
It's because they made sure that their primary focus was still in the country. They didn't say, oh, okay, I've signed an international deal, I'm zooming out, I don't care about Nigeria anymore, I'm trying to penetrate the American market, I'm trying to get this guy on the song, I'm trying to clear this sample to get this guy on the song. They still made sure that the music they were making was for their core fan base, which is in Nigeria. So Sunny Ade, Fela, even Majek Fashek signing to Interscope in 1990, still produced an album that is still being played right now on radio, that is still being played at clubs, that I still play because it was a very Nigerian album. So just because you're trying to sell out or you're trying to go commercial or you're trying to break into other markets, you can't forget your core fan base, because this is where you have the buying power. These are the people that are still going to buy your records. These are the people that are still going to come out for your shows. Nobody's going to come out for your shows in any other part of the country bigger than Nigeria, excuse me. You are going to get your 40,000. If they have, actually, like Wizkid, Davido, they go to Uganda, all these other countries. You see people come out in big numbers. If they set up the same thing in Nigeria, if Wizkid and Davido had a show in a stadium, the whole place would be filled up. The Mavens did it. Yeah. So you need to remember that your core fan base are still Nigerians, and you need to always appeal to them. That's what Fela did. That's what King Sunny Ade did. That's what Ebenezer Obey did. That's what Majek Fashek did.
Okay. Last question. For a Nigerian act who's getting international buzz, a little bit of international buzz, maybe Nigerians out there listening to him, the African community over there listening to him, what are the steps, align the steps for this act to make for him to still remain relevant here, but also maximize the opportunity he has abroad? They're balancing both acts.
You can, I mean, look at, let's take Mr. Easy for an example. Mr. Easy is the perfect example to run this. Mr. Easy, first of all, said fuck radio. Okay, so all you greedy ass OAPs collecting money up and down, he didn't give a fuck about you guys. That's the first thing he did. And he gradually grew organically, passed his music around, did small bars, made sure he did small shows, and grew from there. He didn't accelerate his career. That goes out again to you artists who think you have one single and want to perform at the hotel for 5 minutes and think you've blown. Nobody knows you guys. He took it gradually, started performing, had a 50-man fan base, grew it to 200, grew it to 300, 500, 1,000, understood his fans, communicated with them on a daily basis, one-on-one. People grew into the easy lifestyle. Life is easy lifestyle, right? Because they liked Mr. Easy, and of course he was doing some fantastic music, and again the music was very, very original. Now he turned down a lot of shows. I remember at the end of year shows where they would call all these artists, he wasn't climbing the stage. You don't see Easy when they call out all these guys, okay, you come out, you don't see Easy doing that. He made sure he stood apart, which is he understood the brand, then he understood his target audience, then he started reaching out to them. So he understands. He sorted Ghana out, he sorted Nigeria out. How do I now take this thing outside Nigeria? And he started organizing shows strictly for his core fan base in those regions. It's as simple as that. If you don't have fan base in that region, it's fine. You won't die. Okay, some artists haven't traveled out of Nigeria and they're killing it in the country. So he understood it. So Mr. Easy is actually a perfect example for, you know, an upcoming artist who thinks, you know, he wants to do it the organic way and has some sort of fan base outside the country to actually go by. That's like one of the best, you know, methods. At the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, do these labels have, the international labels, do they have our best interest? Are they interested in developing the structures we have down right now? Or do they just want to mop up the content and own it because everybody is trying to, you know, have some sort of foothold in Africa? These are the questions we need to ask. Before you put a pen to the paper to sign, understand what your core values are as an artist and who your target audience is. If you don't want to break into the international market, then don't bother signing the deal. Okay, a $1 million check is not going to sort your career out because you are just digging a hole you are literally digging a hole to fill a hole, or you will soon start digging a hole to fill a hole. So understand your brand, understand your target audience, know who you want to reach before you sign any international deal. Facts only.
Hey, thanks for watching. Check out more Facts Only, and don't forget to leave your comments behind.